Okay, so in this video, we're going to talk about how you can utilize layouts to organize your lessons and basically just be a more efficient teacher in a virtual setting. So as a teacher in a virtual setting, there might be moments when you need to switch gears really quickly. You might be giving a lecture and then you want to switch to something more collaborative, or perhaps you're reviewing with a group of students and then you just want to speak with one of them. Um, by now, you're probably pretty familiar with the fact that you can change your design, you can open pods and close pods and change the content. But layouts allow us to transition really quickly between entire setups. Okay, so let's take a look at how that's done. If you click up here on layouts, you can see that we have an option to create a new layout. All right, so let's go ahead and click that. And it gives us the option, we can create a new blank layout, or we can duplicate the one that we currently have. So we just want to start from scratch. So we're going to say review layout and hit OK. All right. So then over here on the layouts bar, we can see that we have a blank layout called review layout, and we're going to move that right up under basic. So basically what that's done is it's just created a blank slate for us to work on. Okay. If we click back to basic, it opens it up exactly how it was before. So you can see that this layout is pretty generic. We kind of just have a whiteboard, we have a video pod, we have some info about tech support, a chat pod, different things like that. But it's not really designed for any particular purpose. So this would be a good way to have things if you were just welcoming students into the room, helping them get set up, and then when it comes time to actually starting a lesson or starting to work with the students, you could jump to your new layout that you already prepared. Okay, so let's say that we are going to be teaching a review session to review a chapter that's covered in your course. All right, so we have this blank layout. What we can do is we can just start populating it with our pods that we want to have. So why don't we have an attendees pod open? And we probably want a video pod open so that the students can see us. Okay. Now, what you want to be doing when you're designing your layouts is thinking about what tools are going to be most efficient for this, for what we're doing in this session. So I'm going to add a new file share because I'm going to want my students to be able to download a review sheet that I prepared for them. Okay. And you can do that by just uploading the file here. And another good thing would be to have a Q&A pod, because that way, as we're reviewing, the students can submit their questions to me. Okay. Aside from that, we might just have a notes pod where we'll be taking notes. Let's move that over here to the right-hand side. And then let's say that I've prepared a PowerPoint to review the chapter beforehand. And so I just want that to be open in a share pod right here in the middle of the screen. Okay, there we go. We'll just grab this PowerPoint. So this might not be the ideal setting, but that's what is great about Adobe Connect, is that you can tailor everything to your needs. But this is a basic example of how you might like to design a layout for a review session, okay? So we can do that with any kind of teaching situation you can think of. Let's say that we want to have a different layout if we're just going to be working with students one-on-one. So we're going to add another layout here, create a new blank layout, and then we can do the same thing. We're going to populate it with an attendees pod. Let's keep that one over here this time. Let's open up a share pod. And let's say that we're going to be helping a student with their writing. So what we can do is we're going to have a share pod there. It's going to be able to host the student's content, the student's paper. Let's open up a little notes box here for us to take some notes on. And then if we want to have a chat box open, we can do that too. And let's just keep that right there. So then you can come over here, you can share a document. Let's open up an essay, and there you go. So actually, you know what would be even better? Let's make this chat box a little bit smaller. Move it down here. And let's actually create a video pod and give that a little bit more space. There we go. So now if we were to fire up our webcam, we'd be able to see my face, the student's face, and we'd be able to communicate really well as we go over this paper together. So here's an example of a layout that is really good for working with students one-on-one. Okay, so hopefully you're getting this idea that we can create these different layouts that serve different purposes, and then once we have them prepared, they're saved in our Adobe Connect room, and we can jump in between all our layouts. So this makes it really nice because previously when I've worked with people that use Adobe Connect, I'll see them just using one layout and they have all their pods open and then they say, okay, let's switch and do something new. And they start, closing all their pods, opening up new things. Oh, there's my face. Um, and they have to basically start from scratch designing their room. Okay. But with these layouts, what we can do is we can just design them all beforehand and then transition really quickly so you don't have to waste any time. So for example, let's say that you even teach for two different courses, okay? Let's say that you teach a Spanish course. Here's a couple layouts that I've designed beforehand. So this could be the layout for your Spanish teaching, right? Or let's say that you're teaching for our bowling course that we have here at Independent Study. Here's a really cool example that we set up of what a room might look like for a teacher that's instructing or tutoring for bowling. So there you go. There's an example of how we can create these different layouts and transition between them during our lessons. Hopefully this kind of gives you a little bit of an idea of how to organize your content, organize your lessons, and become a more efficient teacher.